Performance Max's 4th birthday is coming up this year, and yet, despite it being out for so many years, there's still so much confusion and misconceptions around how Performance Max works and how to leverage it to grow your business. After managing over 1,000 Performance Max campaigns, I've come to deeply understand not only how Performance Max works, but what to do and what to avoid to make Performance Max actually work for you. And there's a lot of debate about Performance Max. Some advertisers say it's the future of Google Ads. It's gonna automate everything. It's gonna get you the result you need without you really having to worry about much. And it's gonna allow you to have an easy scaling mechanism. While some advertisers complain that it strips way too much control, it strips too much insight for the advertiser to actually have the ability to take control of the account. So in today's video, I'll be unpacking all these things. I'll be telling you how Performance Max actually works, how to set up a Performance Max campaign for success, things to do, things to avoid. I'll be giving my recommendation, my honest thoughts and opinions on Performance Max. Okay, so we already know Google is pushing Performance Max heavier and heavier year over year. And anytime you get a call from a Google rep, it seems like all they're telling you is run more budget to Performance Max.
Give me all your money. Okay.
So why are they pushing it so heavily and how does it even work? Performance Max is a goal-based campaign type that allows performance advertisers to assess all their Google Ads inventory from a single campaign. Performance Max helps you drive performance based on your specific conversion goals, delivering more conversions and value by optimizing performance in real time across channels using smart bidding. So regurgitated, simplified explanation, Performance Max is a single campaign type that allows you to have ad inventory, meaning show your ads on all placements that Google allows. This means search ads, this means shopping ads, this means the display network, this means YouTube, this means Discover, Gmail, etc., etc. So everywhere. This is one campaign type that essentially gives Google all the control on how much impressions they want to give a particular network, but all of it is rooted at the core that Performance Max is a goal-based campaign, meaning the goals that you have set around your campaign and the conversion actions you're optimizing for strictly determine what placements you're going to get. In other words, Google is going to optimize for the best placement over time. And this is likely why you'll notice if you're an e-commerce business, you're showing up a lot for shopping and maybe search, because these two placements are typically going to get you the highest return on ad spend. So let's walk through that right now. I'm going to do a step-by-step screen share and just talk through how to build a campaign, how I build my Performance Max campaigns for my clients, and some of the key things to pay attention to when you're building it. I'm in my ad account, and all you'll do when you're in the Google Ads dashboard, go to the campaigns tab right here, and then click the plus, which is going to create a campaign. Go to new campaign, and then we will just walk through this together. So let's just say you're an e-commerce business and you sell men's apparel of some degree. Let's just go to sales. This is a tricky part that a lot of people mess up on. And so the very next thing is, as you can see, there's 6 goals that Google is going to say which are important to PMax campaign and should PMax take into consideration when they impression your ads to various networks, right? And so with that in mind, let's look through these right now, and I'll share why at step 2, this is where a lot of people make mistakes. And so if you are tracking all of these things, which these are great things to track, you'll want to know how many add to carts you're getting and how many purchases you're getting, because that could lead to you understanding the drop off on add to cart to purchase, meaning something's wrong in that transition period and you need to fix your add to cart process. But it's not helpful for this scenario and for this campaign setup, because the one thing we really care about is purchases, right? However, Google has in here page views, add to carts, begin checkout, contacts, submit lead forms. And so this is likely why some people run Performance Max campaigns and they'll see hundreds of conversions in their ad account, but very few purchases. And they'll wonder, why am I getting so many conversions, but my ROAS, my return on ad spend, is so poor? And the way to simply fix that is right at step 2 when you're building the campaign, is simply just to narrow and isolate to the conversion action that's rooted to revenue. So what we're gonna do, you're just gonna click these, remove, and you'll just remove all these besides purchases. And then after you do that, what you're gonna do is you are going to go to Performance Max. All you'll want to do after this is, of course, we want to run in the shopping placements, because again, for us, we're an e-commerce business and we want to show on the merchant center. If you're lead generation, do not select this, but if you're e-commerce, then select this, which for this video, I'm particular diving into e-commerce businesses. PMax can work for lead generation, but I'll make a separate video specifically for how to make PMax work for lead generation and actually attract qualified leads. So after you select your merchant center, you're just going to go down and you can name it whatever. For this, let's use the idea that I sell men's and women's clothing, but for this campaign, I only want to sell the men's clothing. So let's dive in and I'll just give it a name real fast. I'll say non-branded, PMAX men's, and continue. And then all you're gonna wanna do from here is, if this is a brand new PMAX campaign, I typically recommend a target ROAS bid strategy, which all you'd have to do to set up target ROAS is you click this box and set your desired target ROAS bid strategy, but you can't just set it to whatever, because Google's likely, they don't have enough data to achieve that goal yet. So what I actually do is I just wanna collect data on this campaign to start. So I'm gonna just select conversion value, because what they're gonna optimize for, if I have a conversion value bid strategy to start, is it's gonna give them a little bit more freedom to go out and spend money to collect data. And then over time, I can refine that and select the target ROAS bid strategy. But for now, let's just select conversion value. And then down here, you'll see customer acquisition. So you can specify if you want Performance Max to only go after new customers or if repeat customers are okay. For this example, I'm actually just gonna ignore it for now. But if you have a high repeat rate, meaning that customers are ordering 2, 3, 4 times. If you're a subscription company or a supplement company, I highly recommend this, because all you need to worry about is new customer acquisition and then excluding them and let the LTV build and not pay for their second or third or fourth purchase. So I'm gonna hit next. Let's just say we're gonna select US just because that's where we're based. And we'll go down and couple things, English. I usually leave these on. This is just another way to leverage the machine learning. So essentially what these do, let's dive into it real fast. The customization and final URL expansion on. And so the customization allows Google to use text from your landing page, essentially to provide ad copy suggestions when you're actually creating your Performance Max asset group. And then the final URL expansion essentially allows Performance Max to send the user who's clicking on a product or searching for a specific thing to see the ad and go to the right landing page. So it provides more relevance, and the machine learning will do this on its own based on the query that the user was searching for. And then as far as the video enhancement, it essentially allows Google to resize your video for additional placements on the video network, as well as it creates shorter, different variations of your video. And then walking down here, last two things that I'd say is your campaign URL options. This is where you'd add UTM parameters so you can track on various other platforms, whether it's Google Analytics, Tripwell, etc., to know the actual behavior of users when they're landing on your landing pages, or just to know the actual value that this campaign is having in your overall media mix. I'm not gonna add that right now, but I will skip to brand exclusions. And this is very important. It's probably just as important as the second thing that I went through, which was making sure you're isolating to your number one conversion. But brand list exclusions, this is huge, because a lot of people think their Performance Max campaign is doing well, and maybe it even has like a 10 ROAS, but it's all inflated by your branded efforts. And the second you try to scale it beyond what it's already spending, the ROAS decline very sharply. And that's simply because for the first time that Performance Max is getting data that is not branded. And so it's very hard for it to convert. So for this Performance Max campaign, and for most Performance Max campaigns, you are going to want to exclude your brand name, and that's gonna make sure that you're only attracting people who are looking for things that you sell. So for this example, again, let's say we're selling men's clothing. If we are selling men's jackets, we only wanna target people who are looking for men's jackets, men's clothing, and show our ads to them, versus people who are looking directly for ABC men's clothing, whatever our brand name actually is. Make sure you add your brand list exclusion here. You can add a new brand list and you just add essentially your brand name, then you'd save it. We already have ours added, so I'm gonna save it right here. And then it does give you an option to allow shopping ads to show for branded searches. And so you're not showing on branded search, but shopping. This is a much longer topic, but for now, for most cases, just deselect it and leave it deselected. And then go to more settings. All this is fine. Let's go to next. And so now we're at the asset generation portion of the build. And this is essentially allowing the AI to help you generate assets. We wanna actually select our own assets because we have very particular images. Maybe we wanna advertise for the men's jacket product, etc., whatever it is. And so I typically don't do this because I want a more customized approach to what it is that we're gonna actually be advertising in a particular asset group. So for now, I'm gonna go skip. And let's just say I have jackets in this one, right? I want this asset group to only host products that are jacket products. I want my ad copy to only talk about men's jackets. And so I'm just gonna select jackets. And then down here, as you can see, if your intention is to select a very specific product category, which is what I typically recommend, is testing them against each other in different asset groups, then you'll go through this process. If you wanted to just run to all products, which maybe you're a very low SKU store, then that's probably okay. But if you have over 20 SKUs in various different product categories with different AOVs or contribution margins associated to them, you'll want to go ahead and segment by asset group, or even in some cases, actual campaign segmentation. But for this case, let's just run through. So what I would do is I would not select all products, right? Because again, we want to only be shown for jackets on the shopping network. So all you want to do is click this pencil icon and let's drill into the product we want to select. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to use a selection of products, and I'm just going to go to product type, and I'm just going to select our men's jackets for now. And then all you'll do is you'll run through like you're building a regular search ad. And this is where you're going to add all the ad copy associated to any search placements that would show. And so I'm not going to go through the process right now of actually building out the full ad, but all you'll do is make your ad copy and your landing page as specific to, for again, the example, the men's jacket landing page or product listing page. And then you get down to search themes. And this is where you are essentially doing your audience targeting. And your audience targeting in Performance Max is not actually targeting. It is suggestions or starting points for Performance Max to start at and then expand past there. So you can target a very particular audience. I can say target people who are interested in men's fashion. And they don't necessarily have to use that as their targeting. They use that partially as a starting place to see if they do target people who are interested in what it is that you're saying, will actually react to the ads and then also convert. If they don't, they look for other individuals and they expand your targeting to people who they deem would most likely convert. Search themes are essentially like search categories, things that your audience would be searching for, and they encourage more search placements, meaning if somebody types in a keyword, a search ad will show for that particular search category. But it also influences your shopping listings as well. So overall, this just allows you to stir the algorithm in terms of saying, hey, our customer base is likely going to target these type of terms or type these terms in, so show for these things. So let's just say I have men's jackets, men's clothing, men's leather jacket. Some of these are under review, but it's okay. I'm just gonna add a few for now. You can add a ton of them, but let's just add a few for now. And then here, it'll actually give you audience signals to use. So it says to run some sort of first party data. So what you do in here essentially is you would upload a customer list or a retargeting list of some sort, and you would target that. I'm actually just gonna use to save audience signal for now, but you can definitely do that, or you can browse your various website or customer lists. I'm gonna use a saved one for now, and then I'm just gonna hit next. So now all we're gonna do is we're gonna set our budget. And for this, I like to just keep it simple. Just set it at $50 a day. And this will be enough for you to actually accrue some data, give some learnings to the algorithm that you can build upon and you can scale over time. And then you are essentially done. All you do now is essentially publish the campaign. Now you know how to actually set up your Performance Max campaign, but setting it up is not gonna solve the issue long-term of growing it, of increasing your ROAS long-term. So how do you optimize your campaign on an ongoing basis? There's 4 main things that I use to optimize Performance Max campaigns. And number 1, it is actually running a Performance Max script. Mike Rhodes has a really awesome Performance Max script. So a Performance Max script, it is essentially you being able to extract data from Performance Max into a spreadsheet to understand what your Performance Max campaign is even spending on and what it's doing well on. As we've mentioned, Performance Max is kind of a black box. Google has taken a lot of control and insights away from advertisers with Performance Max. And so these type of tools help you to understand what is actually happening in the account. And then once you know what is doing well, you'll know how to potentially manipulate the campaign to have increased performance. And so the Performance Max campaigns cover where your actual spend is going on different networks, on your search placements, on your shopping placements, video, display, etc. And it'll also show you out of those placements, which one is getting the most conversions. And then collectively, it'll show you on shopping, display, search, which one of those are actually getting the best ROAS. And then one of my favorite things is it'll actually show you the search terms and the things that are coming in from your Performance Max campaigns that Google doesn't necessarily dive into the best way. So it'll show you those, and it'll show you performance metrics around those searches as well. So again, this is a little bit more of an advanced technique, but this is something that you can easily set up. They have tons and tons of videos on how to set this up, but highly recommend you invest into a Performance Max script. I recommend the Mike Rhodes script, and this will allow you to understand what is working and what's not working, which is a good starting place to understand how to diagnose and fix issues in the campaign. Number 2 actually happens outside of Google Ads. This is optimizing your product feed. And so this is gonna be things of optimizing your product product images, optimizing your titles, optimizing your product descriptions. All of these things contribute to you having a higher click-through rate, more visibility, and overall more conversions on your shopping listing. Essentially, the better and well optimized your shopping listing is, the more likely people can click on it, the more likely Google shows it, and the more likely people are to convert on it, which in turn is going to only improve your campaign performance. Number 3 is to adjust your target ROAS goals. If Performance Max is getting you your ideal target ROAS, don't just leave it there forever. You can actually continue to tell it to get a better target ROAS for you, and it'll do so. Or if it's not spending enough money, it's just knowing how to manipulate the target ROAS goal so it can spend money while getting a good target ROAS. So I always recommend, if it's not spending enough money, slowly decrease your target ROAS goal to get it to spend more money so you can get enough data to actually give you an accurate baseline of what it's capable of, or to increase your target ROAS if it's been meeting your goal. Increase it by 5% and then another 5% over time to allow it to do its thing and to get a better result over time. And then number 4 is actually just very simple. It's going into your actual asset groups where your products are hosted, and it's pausing underperforming products. Performance Max will give you the ability to see what products are spending, the performance metrics around them, and to pause things that have really high spend but low ROAS, and just simply nudge Google to spend more on products that have a higher potential of converting. And then similar to optimizations, sometimes optimizations just mean avoiding certain things. And here's 3 things a lot of advertisers just waste money on when there's simple things to just avoid. And so number 1 is something we've already covered, and it's just ensuring you have that brand list exclusion. You do not want to be misled and keep scaling your campaign, which is having no incremental impact on your actual revenue, because those users would have likely converted anyways if you weren't targeting it in your ads. 2, again, something we already mentioned, but it's just targeting the wrong conversions. You saw earlier, it said page view. If Performance Max got really good at optimizing for page views, you'd see thousands of conversions on a monthly standpoint, but you'd see very little return on ad spend. And so make sure you're steering the algorithm in the right direction and just don't select all the conversions that you have set up in the account. And number 3 was already slightly mentioned, which is just to avoid the trap of getting lazy and not adjusting or testing different bid strategies in Performance Max. If your Performance Max is somewhat performing, it's likely that it can do a lot better underneath the constraints of a different target for your bid strategy, or a completely different bid strategy altogether. So avoid the trap of saying Performance Max doesn't work for me because I've tested it for 7 days, 10 days, and it just didn't work for me. Don't do that. Give it time to work. And then also, if the bid strategy is not quite as efficient as you want, manipulate it or test a different bid strategy before you call it quits. And that is essentially everything. So I promised you guys I'd give my honest opinion and feedback on Performance Max. My honest take is Google is pushing the product more and more every single month. And so I don't believe it's going anywhere. I really believe they're going to continue to push it and automate a lot of things, a lot of campaign types like Performance Max in Google Ads. So understanding how to use it and how to be effective with it without burning money or wasting money on branded conversions is going to be key. All that to say, I'm a huge fan of it. It's worked for me. It's generated millions of dollars for my clients. So definitely test it, definitely run it, and give it a chance. And if you guys are looking to go deeper on Google Ads, hit the link above to watch some of my other videos. Otherwise, subscribe to stay up to date with more videos like this.